Many Americans are up to their eyeballs in stuff. And with the holiday season upon us, we'll be giving and receiving even more, of course. One result is the booming self-storage business.
Booming is really an understatement. From 1998 to 2012, the number of self-storage units in this country has doubled. It is now a $24 billion a year industry. Let us take a closer look now with Scott Gamm, a correspondent for TheStreet.com. Scott, good morning.
Good morning.
This is really fascinating. I don't think most people think of it as sort of a mom and pop. Only every once in a while are people using this, but this is really a huge business.
It's a huge business. There are a ton of public companies that specialize in self-storage, and storage usage has doubled since over the past 14 years, and we're really seeing an uptick in people not only flocking towards storage units, but largely because of life events, divorce, natural disasters, moving, all these different reasons.
I have to confess that even though I promised I would never get one of these things, I have a storage locker now because we recently moved. It's like one of those things where you try to purge your life, but you can't. So like you've got all this stuff. So I mean, what does this say about what's happening in the economy?
Well, it really speaks volumes about what's happening in the real estate market. I mean, if you have a storage facility, you're likely renting and you're in a transition. So that's because a lot of people can't get homes. The banks, their credit standards are a lot tougher. People are having a lot of trouble saving for a down payment on a home. Just yesterday, we saw average hourly wages only rise 2.1% over the past year. We should be seeing 4%. So people aren't making money. They can't save for a down payment on the home, and they're now forced to rent and stay in these transitory periods, and that's why we're seeing an uptick in storage facilities.
It's also fascinating on the business side for people who own these units because I mean, there's really not that much cost, and I think I read something like what the average person holds one for 36 months. I hope it's less for you. But like, what in terms of the business side? On the business side, why is this so profitable for these companies?
Well, think about it. They build a facility, and there's not much, maintenance that they have to do. You literally, and then they're going to charge you to move your stuff in and out of the facility. So that's another way to make revenue. But largely, they're ultimately profiting off of your transition, off of your I don't want to say problems, but ultimately we're seeing a lot of people in storage facilities because there's some issue in their life, whether it's a divorce or, moving or an inability to get a home, and that's why they're flocking towards these units. So
we're not just becoming a nation of hoarders.
Well, in some cases, yes. I mean, you look at the Cyber Monday data from last weekend, hit a record high, up 17% since 2013. So we are getting more stuff, and that stuff is eventually, of course, going to make its way to a storage facility once your closets
We've run out of places to put
and under your bed fills up.
Yeah.
What about in terms of just the stock? I mean, I would imagine, as you're saying, these things are somewhat recession-proof. I mean, are these companies seeing a huge boon on their side? And I guess on the flip side, are investors saying this is a good place to put your money?
Well, Wall Street analysts call these stocks and these companies recession-proof because they did well during 2008. And, think about it. If you have stuff and you need a place to put it, you might be willing to cut out other areas of your budget to be able to afford a storage unit before you make that tough decision to start throwing out your stuff. So in that sense, that mentality among consumers is what investors are looking at.
I think one of the interesting parts about storage units is when you put all that stuff in one of them, you kind of tend to forget that it's out there. And that's a good business model for them, yeah?
And then they have this perpetual income stream where it's almost like, magazine subscriptions where, they just sort of auto-renew and you forget that you even are getting them.
Yeah.
I don't envy the day you actually have to clean it up.
Have to go out there.
That Saturday morning.
Neither do I. That you keep putting it off and then you keep paying more.
Scott Gamm, thank you so much.
Thanks so much.